So you want me to tape this? Okay. The only reason why I'm doing this for is so I can get even with Independent. And not weird team killer. Quit looking at me, you cookie puss son of a bitch, or I'm gonna fucking knock your ass off that chair. Don't give me that look, fucking Indy. Yeah, what the fuck ever. What the fuck are you gonna do? The only reason I'm here for fucking Lilith. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So you want to know some information about the Great One, don't you? You want to know the information about the most electrifying man in the world today? Let me tell you something. Whatever. You lucky that I love Lilith and doing this. How old I am? I'm 25 million years old. Actually, but your turn's probably about 29 billion years old. I was here before your planet was even existed. So tell me about your... What? Tell me about who? My family. Well, whatever. I ain't gonna tell you that now. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. I have a beautiful wife, Lilith. She's the most seductive wife that you ever had. I love her so much. And my son, Junior, Great One Junior, he's the best boy that I can ever have. You know, I give him better than I have. He ain't no stupid, skinny little cookie puss like that fucking David guy over there. You heard me, David. Yeah, look at me, you son of a bitch. I'll slap the fuck out of you, you little cookie puss. Well, get that camera so close away from me. Whatever. What's the next question you want? Why did I hate Independent so much for? You know why I hate him so much for is exactly because of what you just said. He thinks his story's so sad. Oh, don't look at me that way, Indy. You know, if you only knew my story, oh, I'm so sad. I couldn't find out you had your daddy all along. You're so sad as an orphan. You got beat up. If you only knew half I had to go through, you wouldn't even know what true darkness is, and true pain is, and true agony is. You weren't built to be a weapon of mass destruction. You weren't built to inspire souls for the darkness of the Father. You weren't built. What? Tell you the story. Why the blue hell do I want to tell a cookie puss like you, you bald-headed son of a bitch? Tinker, shut the fuck down. Whatever. Fine, I'll tell you my story just for you. Okay. My mother was a princess of light. Over 777 million years old in my time would be about 800 billion your time. My grandfather was the king of light. The king of light, not as the one as, you know, not the shit that Indy talks about, king of lights and all that shit. He thinks that okay, Indy, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Now, the Great One says this. So my father, the father of darkness, the demon of death, the leader of death, whatever you want to call him, he's the father. He lusted after my mother. He seducted my mother to his planet where the racist was brutal. We fought and fought and fought. They did. They destroyed and devoured everything they had in their minds. They killed non-stop. They granted each title names and what title that the person has. Like my name's the Great One. The other one's the Father, you know, of course. And you got the Killer. You know, just on and on what kind of title you have and what have you done in your career. Let me tell my story. Okay, how I got my name, I was getting to that, you idiot. If you fucking interrupted the Great One. Get that camera so close away from me. How I got the Great One was is I was the only one that was birthed of the Father that had the power of destruction. I was birthed with the power greater than all mankind can possess. And I feel guilty about this. That's why I take this form of Michael, this body that I possess. I had to take this form so my darkness will not devour this planet and I will become out of control. I don't mean to. I hate killing. Why I call myself the darkness and why I kill myself? It's because let me get back to my story about my mother. My mother was beautiful. My father seducted her into the kingdom, built this massive, enormous, monstrous, the opposite of heaven, as you could call it. Worse than hell, worse than heaven, worse than anything you could imagine. My mother loved my father, and my father married my mother, and then I was born. I was born with every single power of the light and of the darkness. I had a power in me that nobody ever saw before. My power will just fire anything in its path and takes its ability and use it. My power is uncontrollable. My mother saw this. My mother gave me the soul, which I am talking to you right now in. I was sent as a toddler, barely walking, my very first memory of going to this planet. This planet was called Kushmishna, a planet peacefully. This planet was full of life, love, and beauty. I was sent there as a toddler, not knowing my fate. I saw children playing in the streets. I saw everything. The air, it was so beautiful place. Then my darkness took over. Father said, "Obey me, my son. Destroy, burn it to the ground." Then I destroyed them all. I killed the men, the women, the children, the animals. I devoured all of it. The pain and suffering, them all screaming filled my head. Then Father sent me to another planet, then to another planet. Whole galaxies bowed before me. Armies stood against me. Power stood against me. Heroes stood against me. And they all failed. They all fell to the Great One. I ate them all. I devoured their power, ate their souls for the Father. My mother. I was granted to see my mother one day out of 1,000,000 years. When I saw my mother, she cried. Saw my face and bloody as much as it was from the death and destruction of worlds and planets. Then my father held a game to who could outbest his son, the son of the father. I was put against my own people. My father said, "Son, obey my will. Fight, kill them all, devour their souls." And I said, "Never. I will never fight for you again, my father." My father turned to my mother and said, "You bitch, you whore, took the soul and put in my son." So my father devoured my mother, if not finishing her, took my soul, and I became an unleashed animal. An animal unworthy pain and destruction. I devoured my own people. Then I left the planet, searching for my next one, where I came upon this woman. This woman looked upon me like my mother and told me, "You have your own choice. You have the choice to become good or evil. You can stand against him. You no longer need death and destruction." So I turned against my father. I went to his throne. I threw my armor down that he gave me from the crest of the Father. And I said, "No longer your souls will be yours. I will never be your killing machine again. I am the Great One." And then my father attacked me. But knowing that I can't kill him because we are one, I am of him and he is of me. I bound the chains of him to the darkness pit of ever. I bound him down to the pit. And then I set off to a path to find, destroy what I feel like. I went down to planet Earth. I found Earth in 1940, I believe, in your years. I landed in this place called Roswell. I was landed and I heard a noise, a woman screaming, "Help me, I've changed my ways. I am no longer a monster, Van Helsing. Leave me alone, please." As she fell to the ground, Van Helsing says, "You'll always be a monster." And I didn't know English at that time, and I just translated what Leela told me what would happen. But I translated it, and I knew she was in pain, so I stopped her. Stopped him from killing her, and I killed him. I sucked the power out of him, and it was good. And I felt the power of darkness into me, and I knew I could control it. And they left, the beautiful angel from heaven looked at me and smiled and says, "What's your name?" I was like, this is my language. Then I said, "What the blue hell are you looking at?" Then I said, quit interrupting me. Then I said, then I looked and I said, "Wow, cool, Pachi." Well, she didn't know my language. She took me back to her house, which I don't know why. While she was in the restroom getting ready, for God knows why at the time, I saw the TV. It was the whatever was on. And the language I picked up on. And I'm like, "Do you smell what the great one's cooking?" That's my story. What's wrong, Indy? Why are you crying for, you cookie puss? Even you. Oh, you can't cry because Tin Killer's stabbing you. Why are you guys all afraid? Oh, okay. He dropped the camera. Whatever, I'm turning this motherfucking thing off. My interview's done. Get independent. I don't fucking care. I'm done with this shit.